Hello, good afternoon. My name is Gerardo Zavala, a student of the International Business career. I have always been passionate about the football, the sport which I have followed and practiced since before I was fully aware of my existence. And for this reason, for the delivery of this project, I have decided to tell a brief story of the football over time. It was the 4th century BC, known as the century of Alexander the Great, and more specifically, it was the year 390 BC, when Asteri, a young Greek boy, was sitting next to his mother in one of the temples of ancient Greece, created to pay tribute to one of the 12 Olympian gods. His mother Olympia always told him to get emotionally close to Zeus, but Asteri was never interested in the father of gods and men. He always had in his mind another god, and to whom his prayers were addressed, Hermes, known for his speed and ability to fly. Asteri approaches Hermes because he was always attracted to physical activity, and although he didn't know at the time, Hermes in the future would be the god who would represent sport being the patron saint of athletes. But for now, Asteri was just asking him to let him be happy running and competing in a way that the death was no part of the equation to the various conflicts that were generated in the region. For most of his life, Asteri was dedicated to the fields growing grain. But one day, Hermes heard his prayers, and while walking through the field before the sun went down on the way home, he found a small malformation of wood, and he only thought to kill it. The ball flew away, and Asteri seemed amused to go for it, to save it, and continue kicking it later. The next morning there was nothing to harvest, so he decided to go out with a small piece of wood in a spherical shape to relax a little. While Asteri was playing, a little boy approached him, and not far from them, some citizen began to fill in stone an image that would be discovered many years later. Here they were creating what would be the most popular game at the time, called Episkyros, a ball game. Sadly, Asteri would lose his life in one of the wars in the emergence of the Macedonian Empire, and he was buried in the Kerameikos cemetery. But this picture playing Episkyros will be found a few centuries later. It was November 21 of 1857 when Fergus Sutter was born in Glasgow, Scotland, son of Annie and Roger, a working-class family, and because of this, Sutter would begin his adolescent years as a bricklayer. In 1878, participating in the construction of one of the first residential buildings in the city, where he worked while carrying bricks. Rumors arrived that a relief had been discovered somewhere in the southern Europe, where a Greek athlete could be seen balancing a ball on his thigh. This news that made him feel that his life was more than just dedicating himself to construction. There was a reason why these rumors had reached Glasgow, a city so remote from that cutting, and noting that in 1863 the first football match had already been played. He approached the owner of the land where he was working to ask if he could be part of his football team, the Patrick FC. With a positive response as the team played its first match against Darwin FC. By then, the game was officially amateur. Professionalism was not allowed, but after this match, Darwin FC offered him money to go play with them, and at the end of 1878 he left his hometown and his job as a bricklayer to move to England and play for Darwin FC, something that was very suspicious in all around. But they would be become the first professional footballer to be covertly played to play. By 1880, he caused even more controversy by going to play for Blackburn Rovers, a local rival of Darwin FC, who accused him of going to play with them to receive better payouts. With his last team, he would win the FA Cup, the longest running football tournament in the history of humanity, which, without noting, both Fergus and the English Football Association would be creating the foundation of that would be in the not too distant future the most prestigious and popular sport on planet Earth. Fergie, as he will be known in the world of football, will die in 1916 at the age of 58. Like Destiny think, his death was accompanied by the start of the First World War, an event that suspended international football for 4 years. But the ball will be red again in 1940 with the start of the Second World War, an event that suspended the football again. Just in the year in which the Second World War began, as a win of fate, the football legacy seemed to be connected through the years and dimensions, because in Brazil, in Minas Gerais, Edson Arantes do Nascimento, better known as Pelé, was born. A figure who would mark a before and after in this sport, a player who revolutionized the way football is played, someone who could be an inspiration for more than one generation in the world. Winner on 3 occasions of the most important national team tournament in the world, organized by the Federation International of Association Football, better known as FIFA, the World Cup, and who would lead the revolution of sport in the world, becoming known in any corner of the planet, and who today continues to be recognized as one of the most dominant athletes in this sport. Pelé would pass away on December 29 on 2022, and just as the Epicurus was discovered, any player who has given his life to seek to be the best in the world will beat time and travel to the future in the only way that human being can do today, being a part of the story that will be told today, tomorrow, and forever. This has been a small story of the football through 3 characters from a study in the ancient Greece, then Fergie in Scotland, and finally Pelé in Brazil. And I don't know, maybe these 3 person is the same person but in different eras, and maybe them giving us a story to tell, a story that I can share with you in this presentation. Thank you so much for your attention. And like Edson Arantes do Nascimento Pelé, considered the greatest player of all the time, said one day, "The greater the difficulty, the greater the glory of having overcome it."